Hello, everyone. Here with you is Ebenezer Roxon. You can call me Jesus Power. I humbly welcome you to today's lesson on health and safety at the workplace. Health and safety at the workplace, which is specifically referenced from CIC, that is Cambridge International College UK, Ghana affiliate centers. Now, remind you, in Ghana, we currently have three affiliate centers, campuses. We have Aguna Studio campus, we have Taka campus, and Asen Fusu campus. Remember, quality education is our top priorities. Oh yeah. So in the light of this, do not forget to connect with us on our various social media handles, on LinkedIn, Ebenezer Roxon, on Facebook, Jesus Power Group, on Instagram, Jesus Power 12, on Twitter too, we are there at GH Jesus Power. You can also send in your comments, your questions, your suggestions, in fact, anything at all that is making your mind preoccupied via our email address. That's jesuspowereducate@gmail.com, so that we see how best we can in unity learn as we educate and then aid ourselves in the educational fraternity. Today we are going to consider module 4 of our study manual, that is health and safety at the workplace, module 4. Remember, I said specifically reference from Cambridge International College, so it is module 4 of the Cambridge health and safety at the workplace study manual, and it is working at height. You see, it is not only when employees are working on grounds that is when their health and safety needs to be considered. No, any activity at all that demands the employee or the individual worker to be at height and then undertake such job functions, management in charge of health and safety must ensure that the employee's safety is safely regarded, and not including that, it extends to even stakeholders, including clients who might find themselves in your working environment. And mind you, working environment is referred to any place at all that job functions or working activities are undertaken. These places are classified or are tagged as working environment. So health and safety, which is a key in any organization, needs to be highly considered. Now let us consider what is meant by work at height or working at height. Now you see, work at height, the term refers to any place above or below ground level. So provided you are a worker, you are an employee, and you find yourself discharging your duties above or below ground level. In our local dialect, just say unjina form. You are above ground level, no below. This activity or this act is termed as what? Work at height. In the next slide, we are going to consider so many things, including the common activities that we undertake that might cause us to find ourselves working at height, and then we see how best we can provide safety measures in it. And some of the things that we basically use whenever that we are undertaking work at height, a typical example is a ladder. I'm going to go into details and then get to know the safe use of ladders, what we are to do, how to even position ladders whenever that we are using them in our various working environment. And other one has to do with scaffolding. This is basically used in buildings whenever that we are undertaking building activity and construction activity. So kindly take note of that. So all these activities demands the worker to be at height, and since the worker will be at height, employees need to take absolute care, as well as employers, ensuring that all workers are safe. Why? Because serious accidents occur, in particular during building and construction work, or when work is being undertaken on existing buildings. And one of the major causes of accidents is falls from ladders and scaffolding. Fall from ladders and scaffolding. Therefore, it is the responsibility of the management of an organization to ensure that work at height by its employees is carried out safely. Yes, it is a necessity. Why? Because workers nor employees are valuable assets that when employers nor management in charge of safety are to ensure that their health and then safety is in a good state, automatically it brings in more returns for the organization. Why? Because you won't spend anything on hospitals, anything like even absenteeism will be limited. Why? Because you have pre-ensured, you have placed in certain measures which will safeguard their lives as well as ensuring their safety. If this is done, automatically the continuous operation of the organization in question progress is always active without any form of limitation. So let us consider some of the common causes of falls from height at work. As I said, these are some of the basic activities, this the major activities, and these are minor activities that when we are undertaking, automatically we are prone to falling from height. And one, building activities, roofing, scaffolding, as we saw in the previous slide. Let me revisit. That is scaffolding. These activities, you see this worker, he is at height, he is working at height, so necessary measures need to be put in place. Why? Because he is prone to falling from that height. Again, tree felling work will be natally or yeah they will train. So he is basically at height. Therefore, we are a share a safety jacket and a hearing aid and a shenasumi. So you realize that in this scene, all the safety protocols are observed. Therefore, the employee is basically confident, and there is a kind of zeal in him to undertake his duties without fear or any kind of panic. Some of the minor activities that prone us to falling from height: one, gutter cleaning, affixing posters, doing minor roof work, shelf stacking in shop store. Now let me revisit the gutter cleaning. Realize that in the previous slide we said that work at height refers to any place above or below ground level. So when you are undertaking an activity such as gutter cleaning, that means you are below ground level. So if you don't take care, you can fall into the gutter, causing harm to yourself. Affixing posters, we have said it. Doing minor roof work, shelf stacking in shop or store, window cleaning, loading and unloading vehicles, and even, take note of this, and even during such simple actions as changing a light bulb or a fluorescent strip. These are some of the common activities that we find ourselves in, proning us or causing us to be vulnerable to falling from heights. So kindly take note of that. In light of this, note also that workers in all industries might be exposed to risks. Let me stress here, workers in all industries might be exposed to risks. So this is to tell us that it is not only large companies, nor huge companies that their employees, workers are prone to hazard associated with working at height. No, irrespective of the kind of industry that you find yourself in, either small or large, work at height needs to be done with extra vigilance so that you can put in the necessary measures in order to prevent falls. Again, the most common accident and injuries occur due to falls from ladders and step ladders. We are going to consider all these things in the subsequent slides. Falls from machinery, falls from open unprotected edges of roofs and walls. So if as an entity we are prone to all these things associated in our daily activities at the workplace or wherever that we find ourselves, then what should we do? Specifically, employers, contractors, or any other people who have a duty of care. A duty of care. That means you are solely responsible to ensure that all those who find themselves in the working environment, that is your employees, as I said earlier on, even including day-old visitors, including stakeholders, any person at all who in one way or the other might find himself or herself at the working environment, you must ensure their safety. And let us consider in the next slide how we can do that. Let us move. 1. That all workers from height is planned and organized. So any activity at height, even before it is undertaken, management in charge of safety must ensure that it is well planned and even organized. You need to also plan for the workers as well. When you plan, it helps you to get to know the risks associated. In the course of the planning, you will be able to identify the risks that are associated to the activity that is to be done in order to aid you to undertake certain measures or actions which will safeguard these workers. And again, that the people involved in work at height are trained and competent to perform the task. That means whenever that work at height is supposed to be done, it is not anybody at all. No, it is not anybody at all. Some workers, some employees might have the theoretical knowledge, understanding, but practically they need to be trained. So for the fact that they theoretically know what is to be done and what is not to be done, doesn't mean that he or she is specialized, experienced. No. You need to take time, if possible, train and ensure that they are competent. When you do all these things, automatically it limits the rate at which hazard associated with work at height occur in the working environment. As I said earlier on, that the risks from height are assessed and suitable work equipment is selected, provided, and used safely. In the course of the planning, as you assess the risks associated to the work, it also helps you to provide suitable work equipment and provide the needed safety, including helmet, safety jacket, safety boot, and so on and so forth. Again, that equipment for work at height is properly inspected and maintained. Inspecting and maintenance is very, very necessary. It might happen that these ladders and then scaffolding that we are going to talk about, specifically ladders, it have been used in several occasions. Any point in time that it is going to be used again, it is your responsibility as a safety officer to ensure that all these materials are still in their good position. Ensuring these things will help you to be certain that these materials or these ladders and scaffolders that we are going to use in order to undertake our work at height will still be in the best position to function as expected. Kindly take note of that. And again, that risks from fragile work surfaces are properly controlled. That risks from fragile work surfaces are properly controlled. All these things are very necessary. And the risks associated with fragile work has to do with roofing, and some roofs which are being fixed with asbestos material, and some of the basic things that we are basically known to has to do with for example, that is a POP. Those POP things, you realize that it is not as strong as the normal roofings that we use. And if you find yourself to work under all these things or above them, you must ensure that the risks associated to them are well assessed and the needed control and prevention from falls are put in place. Now, it is advisable that in all our dealings or whatever that we do, we prevent working from height. Yes, as far as we can and as necessary as we can. It is advisable that we do prevent work at height. But when work at height cannot be avoided or cannot be prevented by hook or crook, we need to just get to the top. No, we need to just get below the ground and then undertake our working activities or our job functions. Then what should we do? A full risk assessment must be undertaken during the planning process before work commences, and every effort should be made to prevent what? Falls. This is to tell you that in health and safety, risk assessment is very necessary. You see, my other student will assent to the fact that risk assessment is not just done once and then you are off, or you just do risk assessment today and then next year again before you know. Risk assessment, I can even say that it needs to be done any point in time or in any moment that work is to be undertaken or job functions is to be fulfilled. It is very, very necessary. Now, if work at height cannot be avoided, there are certain collective measures that needs to be put in place, and that is the use of guard rails and then hand rails. It is always best to use collective measures such as guard rails and hand rails, and working platforms like cradles, scaffolding, and mobile elevating work platform, that is MEWP, to prevent falls. But before we come in with all these things, we must try personal measures such as work restraint, harness net, or airbag. That is the thing that we put them together in order to ensure our personal safety, which might only mitigate the distance and consequence of a fall, or which might only provide personal protection from a fall. So even as we consider the personal measures, we don't have to forget the collective measures. Now, let us consider a ladder, since it is a common material that we use. Let us consider it. In this and the next slide, we are going to just consider how to position them, what to do, what not to do, so far as the use of ladders in working at height is concerned. Now, it says ladders are the most common pieces of equipment used for climbing above ground or floor level. Yes, it is very true. Me used to be that, and I'm sure you have also done the same thing. And if that is so, before use, I don't know whether you knew this, or with the aid of this lesson, you are going to know. Before use for climbing, that is a ladder. A ladder should be positioned that A, the bottom of it will not slip outwards, and B, let me stress the A, the bottom of it will not slip outwards. To say, nasano, as I say, udisi uposition ye, ama anyade, patre, and antro. And if yedbesi emanem patre manentro, that means the grounds that we are positioning the ladder needs to be also assessed. You must ensure that it is not slippery. And B, that it is at an angle of 75 degrees, called the 1 in 4 rule. That is 1 unit out for every 4 units up. Kindly take note of that. All right, and so this is an image of a ladder showing the 1 to 4 rule. The 1 to 4 rule. That is when 1 unit is up. When 1 unit is up, then that is when 1 unit is out. When 1 unit is out, then 4 units should be up. This is the 1 to 4 rule. So kindly observe this and know how to position your ladder in order to prevent falling from height. Now let us consider safely when using ladder. Safely when using ladder. That is when using ladder safely. And the following instructions should be given to all workers. And I repeat, the following instructions should be given to all workers. You see, if you are a safety officer and you are in charge of ensuring the health and safety of employees, one thing that you shouldn't do is to assume, oh, let me free say. When it comes to safety activities, we do not entertain, let me free say, oh, I think, oh, let me free say, oh, let me free say, a harmful, oh, let me free say, as I say, oh, yes, dabi. We do not entertain that. Anything at all that needs to be undertaken as a job function, you, a safety officer, you need to be there to provide the necessary safety advice. If my dear safety officers could recall the last time when we went to the Tama Oil Refinery, immediately after the reception, we're matched to the safety department, that is the first aiders, to give us the necessary advice, what we need to do and what we need not to do, and provided there is any inconvenience, where we need to be, where we need to assemble, even before we started our survey. So in any activity at all, instructions need to be given. Do not assume. Take note of that. Kindly take note of that. And what are some of the instructions that we need to give? Always grip the ladder with both hands when climbing. Always grip. Gripping means usum with much care. Always grip the ladder with both hands when climbing. And again, do not work off the top 3 ranks. Let me go back to the previous slide. Do not work off the top 3 ranks. Those are to provide a handhold. These are the ranks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. As you can see, these are what the ranks. Now this is long. Let us use this one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So these are having 13 ranks. Now, if you are to stand and then work, you should at least leave 1, 2, 3 ranks above. So probably if you are to work, then I am to stand here. I shouldn't come here. No, come here. Why? Because if you imagine that you are working and you have come to just stand at this place, and then you are working, automatically you are prone to fall from height. If you don't take care and the grounds is not firmly established, automatically you will fall. So make sure that you do not work off the top 3 ranks. Those are to provide a hand hold. A hand hold. In case of anything, now in the next slide you are going to see an example more, so don't worry. And again, use the ladder for light work only. Yes, do not attempt to carry heavy items or long length of material up the ladder. It is very necessary. Again, carry light tools in a shoulder bag or in a holster attached to a belt, so that both hands are free to hold the ladder. So nothing at all should prevent you from firmly gripping or holding the ladder whenever that you are climbing. Do not overreach whilst climbing or working from the ladder. Do not overreach. Overreaching means to say ujina ladder no so no, where you have positioned it no, the what see ho kra na wo ya de foforo painters attires had you pa. Instead of them to just get down and reposition the ladder to the appropriate place where they have got in order to undertake their painting works, realize that then must stretch it. Do not overreach. And there is an image that is figure 4.6 and then 4.7 is showing us. So let's move on to the next slide. Figure 4.6, that is incorrectly overreaching when working on a ladder. This one do not do. Open any genus we nena bako and wasum and watching the mupote aquadurenti obesi form na or ladder na baha na waye nejumano dabi what shini muhim. When you do this, it is not a safe method. It is not a safe thing to do at all. You are easily prone to indulging in a fall from height. Don't forget that. Again, this is a correct position for working from a ladder. Kindly take note of that. A correct position from working from a ladder. Now, when using ladder safely, a step ladder should be positioned so that the worker faces the work activity. So at the end of the day, the worker needs what? To face the work activity in front of him. And this is figure 4.8, that is correct face on position of step ladder. These are what? Step ladders. This is the correct position. So realize that the rungs in front, they are providing support as he lean on them. Everything is accurate, and this is an incorrect side on position of step ladder here. Since we see a chair one way, automatically you are prone to falling from height, and this is the correct face on position of what? Step ladder. Step ladder. Kindly take note of that. Let's move on to the next slide. Now, all these slides, including the previous slides, it is self-explained. So along the line, you can also just pause the video and then take time to read through the content. It is provided for you so that you can fully understand everything. Now, let us also consider MEWP. MEWP. That is mobile elevating work platforms. Mobile elevating work platforms. It is always important to select the right MEWP. We know it man can say no. You have bypassed the ladders and so on. It is always important to select the right MEWP, that is mobile elevating work platform, for the job to be performed. There is a wide range of MEWPs available. Some of it are designed for use inside buildings, while others are designed for use outdoors. Yes, so you need to know which one to use. Either you are using it for indoors or outdoors. And let us consider these pictorial examples over here. This is an example of a mobile elevating work platform. Mobile elevating work platform. The controller here controlling everything. There's an example of it. Now, let us come to roof work. It also forms part of work that is actually done at height. Roof work. Roof work. Now, accidents are common when work is performed invariably at height on roofs, whether on new constructions or during the maintenance or repair of existing roofs. Not only are the workers themselves at risk of injury, but people passing by or underneath the work are also at risk of injury and even death. Yes. Therefore, adequate precautions must be taken whenever that we are undertaking our job functions and finding ourselves at the roofing. In fact, very dangerous. At times, those industries who are in charge of undertaking roofing activities, in fact, no be talho or roofing. In fact, therefore, in order to, and at times when certain precautions as well as certain measures are put in place, even you the worker, me and make say as a bisuri, if safety measures, safety precautions, everything is put in place, I become confident. There is nothing like fear of panic. There is nothing like that at all, and I efficiently and I wholeheartedly put up my maximum best in ensuring that the right thing is done. The right thing is done. Thank you very much for your attention, and let us meet again on our next topic on Module 4, that is building and construction. Building and construction. Specifically, whenever that we are undertaking building and construction work, there are certain safety measures and precautions that we need to undertake so far as it involves work at height. Kindly forget that there is nothing at all like theoretical knowledge. No, forget about that one. Even if you have the theoretical knowledge, practically as a safety personnel, you need to train all your workers on how to safely use working equipment and ensure safety, because you have a duty of care. Thank you very, very much. And do not forget once again to connect with us. Let us communicate. LinkedIn, Ebenezer Roxon. Facebook, Jesus Power Group. Instagram, Jesus Power 12. On Twitter, don't forget we are there too. GH Jesus Power. And send in your comments, your questions, your suggestions, anything at all that is making your mind preoccupied to us via our email, jesuspowereducate@gmail.com. jesuspowereducate@gmail.com. Until then, stay safe, take a very good care of yourself, and ensure that in all that you do, safety first. My name is Ebenezer Roxon, and you can call me Jesus Power. Thanks very much for your attention. Goodbye.